Welcome to another episode of Anyone Have a Pencil? My guest today is Cole Townsend. Cole, welcome.
Thanks, man. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, man. We got started a little bit early, but I'm glad you got to make it. You're headed out pretty soon to go back to hunting camp.
Yep, Sunday. So
That's
headed
crazy.
north.
And that's in Canada?
Yeah, I'll hit North Dakota for a couple weeks, and then hunting season starts September 1st in Canada. So I'll be up there for that.
That's awesome. You live like kind of a crazy lifestyle. I was talking to my wife about this the other day. I'm like, first of all, I love you. Like, I think you're like an incredible guy. But like, you're a college athlete, right? You're a good looking dude. You're in shape. You run a successful business. And you're like one of the most positive people I've ever met. Like, you don't get, we play golf together, which most people won't know, but I'm like slamming clubs and like cursing the sky. You're like just always positive. Where'd that like mindset come from? Has that always been the case?
No, not at all.
Okay.
No. I broke
You were born a
many
saint?
clubs. No,
Yeah.
dude. High school, I was an aggressive dude, and I guess I thought, when you're young and you haven't ever been injured or nothing's bad happened to you before, you just think you're the superhuman type of dude.
Mhm.
And that's how I grew up. I was always kind of at the top in athletics and school, whatever it was. I just wanted to be at the top of everything. So nothing really bothered me. And if I did bad, I got super angry. Like to the point where I was in high school and my grandma would take me golfing and I'd slam on the brake and she'd tumble over. Yeah, dude, it was bad. So after that, it's like, oh crap. But yeah,
a couple of yard trips with
but,
grandma.
So I guess it just kind of went away after I had 2 ACL repairs, had elbow surgery. I've tore my pec off. It takes you down to a level where you're like, you think nothing can happen to you to anything could happen.
Yeah, it takes your invincibility away a little bit.
Yeah. So, which honestly is a blessing for me because I didn't like who I was looking back at it. But
was that all from baseball? All
football,
the injuries? Okay.
Football for my first knee. I was doing an alley-oop with some friends. For my second knee, I came down, landed on one foot. My foot had hit a guy that was under the goal. So I kind of landed crooked.
Yeah. Broke
that knee. My elbow got screwed up from inner tubing behind a boat. Kid flew up. We were, dual two man on a tube. He went up and landed on my elbow. So I didn't even tear my elbow playing baseball, which that sucked.
Was
really
that while
bad.
you were playing baseball? You tore your elbow?
No, it was in the summertime.
Oh man.
We were just boating, at the lake. And the doctor told me, I had 2 partial tears in my UCL, so the main ligament for pitching, right?
Okay.
And the doctor told me, it'll repair itself.
Is that like that Tommy John ligament?
That's Tommy John, yeah. He told me it would repair itself, and it never did. So 6 months later, my senior year of baseball is coming up, and I don't even get to pitch. My first pitch hurts like hell.
Yeah.
And so if I would have just had the surgery, it probably would have been a lot better, but I ended up not being able to pitch my senior year, trying to hit, which I hate hitting. So, it just kind of screwed up my life for a lot and a lot of it. My goal was to play baseball and hunt in the off season.
Yeah.
So, I don't know, man, just kind of sucked.
Yeah. Life throws you some curveballs sometimes.
It's what makes me a positive guy now, which I like. But
so what do you think the catalyst from that was? I mean, it sounds like it was a humbling experience, right? You go from like kind of being on the top of the world, athletically, collegiately, and then, from my own personal experience, being stuck in a hospital bed,
dude,
or being in recovery is one of the most humbling things that can ever happen because you're kind of like someone's got to take care of you.
Yeah.
Right. And then all the things that you've been so good at doing, you can't get up and go do, and you're just alone with your thoughts in a room.
Yeah. Dude, it's
so
terrible.
Talk about that, like process a little bit. Like what'd you figure out? How'd you come out of that? Because a lot of people would be like, you could be easily, middle school baseball coach that hates the world and that sits around talking about what could have been. So how did you like make sure you went the other direction?
Probably just the people around me were super positive. It was the elbow surgery that really did it in for me. Like I knew my knees would recover and be fine. It was just throwing a baseball. Like I was throwing 90 miles per hour my freshman year in high school, left-handed.
Yeah,
so I was like,
you're
deal. I'm
I'm
gonna make it. Had a scholarship to play at Tech. All that went away. I ended up getting staph infection in my knee. So I was at the hospital every morning at 8 a.m. for like 4 months, getting antibiotics through a tube that goes in my arm to my heart. And it finally went away. Lost 35 pounds. I didn't have any surgery till after high school. So everything basically, my life was just done. I was like, dang, I got to read books now. You know, I got to actually focus on school, which I never did. I did all right in school, just getting by. But that was just a lot
of people don't know like when you're an athlete at that caliber too, like there's not a lot of time for school.
Yeah. Well, and I never thought I was going to go to college.
Right.
Like,
yeah, you were like first round draft pick.
Yeah. Like I was a blue chip player or whatever they call them. But and it just opened my eyes, man. I was like, I got to figure this out. Just had to get by. I ended up calling a junior college that had watched me play a game. I hit 3 home runs in, and I was like, man, I'm going to recover from this elbow surgery. I'm going to be throwing 90 again. He's like, what? I was like, what can I do? Is there any way I can get on the team? And he's like, redshirt this year, throw bullpens. And he basically gave me a full ride. Redshirted me, ended up being able to play like half a season for him. And then I got picked up by Arkansas Little Rock. So, dude, I was a baby deer when I got into college.
Yeah.
I was 30 pounds under what I was supposed to be. I had brand new legs, a brand new arm. And I don't know, just battling through that and getting back. And just, I don't know, it shapes you. It shapes you in a weird way.
Yeah, it's like you're grinding for the first time in your life, or like your natural talent wasn't there. You're like,
right,
I'm on a path to get back to where I was. Yeah, that's brutal.
There's a focus there, and it just makes you into a person you want to be. Like now, nothing compares to any of that stuff that I've gone through. So, unless someone steals all my money or something at this point, like that. Now it's a money grind and working through real life stuff now.
So when you get picked up by Arkansas Little Rock, at some point you realize your baseball dream's not going any further.
Well,
right?
No, I still was able to go play pro ball. I got drafted twice, turned it down because they wanted to pay me like $20,000.
Okay.
So they were like, you're a liability. If you get injured one more time, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
So I ended up turning down the draft to the White Sox my junior year in college. It wasn't enough money for one. I wanted to play with my team one more year that I've been with for a couple of years. So my senior season comes around. I'm throwing extremely well. I'm like number 2 in the Sun Belt Conference. Had like 30 innings pitched after 4 games or something, and doing extremely well. Would have been an awesome deal. Coach makes me go throw one more inning after I told him my arm's tightening up. It was super hot. I think I was dehydrated. But I ended up tearing my forearm the next inning, first pitch.
Yeah.
And I was like, Coach, I told you. I told you. So it completely obliterated our entire senior season. Like none of the guys on the pitching staff were throwing strikes. Which is huge. We had guys
where you were overworked. Right?
Yeah,
it's like he's my workhorse.
Well, dude, I went in as a closer. I gained all my weight back. Long story short, over 4 years, I was this size, pretty much bigger guy, and I was only throwing like 20 pitches. So I get to Little Rock. They want to make me a starter, trying to throw up to 100 pitches a game or 120. Which I'm not built as a guy that can throw. Yeah, those guys are tall. They're lanky.
Yeah. Well, especially coming off of just being a closer.
Yeah.
And then like, hey, you're throwing, 6 innings now or whatever it's going to be.
It's just one of those deals. a coach has to do what a coach has to do. I don't blame him for anything that ever happened, but we needed guys that could throw strikes. There was only like 4 of us at the time that could throw strikes. You know, everyone else would walk the first batter every time they get out from nerves or being young or whatever it was.
Yeah.
And just how it went down. But yeah, I do miss it. I would love to play again. But
Yeah.
I'm glad I'm not. All of my buddies that got drafted, they're already done playing. So
yeah.
And probably half of them were better than I was.
But that journey also led you to like what I was referring to earlier. Like you live a pretty free life,
Mm-hmm.
and that. So how does that transition take place? How do you go from, high school, college athlete, drafted in the pros to be like, hey, I'm not going to take that money from the White Sox. What did you do the day after that? Like when baseball's done?
As soon as baseball is done, I got my degrees. I got a degree in business and marketing. So it's like, okay, I'll have something I can use in the future. I had a bunch of money saved up from working part-time as a hunting guide in high school. And I did it over like Christmas break, Thanksgiving break in college. So I don't know, I had like $60,000 in the bank saved up over 7 or 8 years. I got in touch with a guy that wanted to go to Canada really bad. Canada's, for anyone that doesn't know, Canada's the place you want to go to make money in the hunting industry, especially for waterfowl, ducks, and geese.
Why is that?
Because there's not land leases up there. You can't lease land. Like if I were to start an outfitter here in Lubbock, you're paying $800 to $1,200 a day for a field to hunt at one time.
Yeah,
that's every day.
Or you have to own a private reserve. Or,
Well, no, dude, you can't even run a waterfowl hunting outfit without 500,000 acres or more.
That's crazy.
Like where I work in Amarillo, we probably have access to over 1 million acres, and it's still tough.
Yeah.
So I don't know. But yeah, that's what I did. I started an outfitter up in Canada. It was extremely successful. I had a bunch of clients from years prior from working part-time. I just called them up. Hey, will you give us a shot this year? And so
how did you start that though? You were like, I'm going to go to Canada and just like, so.
Well, yeah, it's a funny story. A buddy called me that I worked with in Oklahoma part-time guiding for. He's like, dude, there's some stuff up for sale. It's where Fred Zink used to hunt. I was like, no way. Fred Zink's a huge name in the waterfowl industry. Huge. Right. Sells a ton of duck calls. He's in every store possible. Anyway, this same area, videos are all over the internet. You can get old DVDs and watch where he used to hunt.
Yeah.
And we flew up there, me and my buddy Thomas, we flew up there and we just looked at the layout of the land. Is there enough water? Is there enough grain, like corn, milo, or wheat, or whatever? It's like, there's a ton of water. There's 2 giant lakes. There's no way there's not going to be birds here. Mm-hmm. And even, I think we went in like June or something, and there were still like ducks and geese everywhere. So we're like, okay, well, done deal. Before we get this going, let's call all of the clients we've ever hunted with before and see if they'll give us a shot. So we ended up charging $2,600 a person for 3 days of hunting. And we ended up having like 100 clients our first year.
Wow.
So he'd been guiding for 15 years. I'd been guiding for 7 or 8. I can't remember at the time, but we ended up getting like 100 clients our first year, making a profit. To buy the zones up there, we actually got a good deal from a guy, so you can't get zones up there to hunt in for U.S. clients unless another outfitter's selling them or Canada puts them up for auction. So
it's like a liquor license.
Yeah. But you can't hunt outside of a certain area. We ended up getting an area that was like an hour and a half by an hour and a half wide, big area. You still have to ask landowners for permission to hunt and all that. And Canadians are super nice, so they typically let you hunt. So it was great. But where was I going? We got the zones for super cheap because the outfitter that was selling the zones was forced to by Canada because he did a bunch of illegal stuff.
So it was like perfect timing for you guys.
Our zones that we bought for like $25,000 are worth $250,000, $300,000 now. So I mean,
and does that stay with you is it termed or is it like they're yours until you die?
They're yours. You pay a fee for them for each zone every year, but it's like $1,500. I don't know what it is. I don't know
unless you're, like as long as you're following the rules and not doing anything illegal, they can't.
No.
And even in the previous situation, they didn't take them back from those guys. They had them sell them. So there's a little bit of security
No,
there.
they can't take them back.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess they could, but no, they'll put them up on an auction site for all these other outfitters that are in each province. So Alberta would be the one, but that was crazy. Because we should have dropped our entire bank accounts to do what we wanted to do, but we ended up making a profit our first year doing it from just getting lucky, you know. And that was when I was 23, fresh out of college. So, that's what I did right after.
So, I mean, that's kind of like, that doesn't happen for everybody.
No,
you started your first company out of college and you were profitable the first year. That's kind of insane. And not only that, it's a 2-man operation, right? So,
well, we hired 2 guys the first year and a cook. So there was 5 of us.
So you have like cabin.
Yeah, we ended up renting our lodge. What we called our lodge was on Airbnb. So in Canada, it's wintertime. A lot of these people around the lakes, they'll come down to the States. A lot of them have a house in like Arizona or something.
Yeah. Snowbirds.
So they rent out their huge lake houses.
Yeah.
And it was like a 7-bedroom house that we had, a lodge that we rented on Airbnb for like $8,000 for 2 months.
Wow.
Yeah. So, I mean, it was just every piece of the puzzle fell into place to where we could actually make it work. We did our research. Does anything
go wrong along the way, or like, has it just been?
Yeah. The biggest problem is the paperwork, trying to solidify yourself as a business up there, especially for hunting. Like we bring a packet to the border from an attorney. Like our first year, our attorney fees were the most expensive thing. It was like $50,000.
Okay.
But it's
establish a Canadian corporation.
Right. So you establish the business in the States working in Canada. Right. So it's just a big, when I was 23, I didn't know what to do. We just had our attorneys do everything for us. We'd take a packet of the border that was so thick, we just kind of hoped the border agents didn't read through all of it.
They're like,
they're looking, and so they'll usually just give it back to you after like the first 10 pages. And I'm like, okay, well, I guess we're good.
So do you have to pay Canadian taxes and American income tax?
The only way you pay Canadian, you do pay Canada a certain amount, but not taxes, unless you own a piece of property up there. Sure. If we owned the lodge up there, then we'd have to pay taxes in Canada and the States. Okay. But we didn't own anything but the rights to hunt U.S. clientele up there.
Gotcha. So you're just paying fees for like hunting and then your zone.
Yeah.
Okay. So you do 100 clients the first year, and that was how many years ago?
That'd be 5 years ago now.
And now how many clients are hunting with you guys?
We run around 200 now. We've pretty much maxed out the area we're in just for the amount of birds we have. That and finding another lodge in our area separate from each other. You don't want to put 2 groups of clients in the same lodge, right? Yeah. It'd be like you and 7 of your buddies come to the lodge. Like you don't want to see 8 other random people there. So we just didn't want to mess with it. Yeah. Because one of the groups would have a good hunt, one would probably have a decent hunt or a bad hunt, and there just wouldn't be enough birds or land access for us.
And it's more personal. It's like bespoke hunting experience where it's like, hey, I can take my buddies. It's just going to be us.
Right.
And then we get to come hang out.
We'll take a lot of like bachelor groups or stuff like that. But it's fun, man.
So what's the economics of, like, you're doing 100 at 2,600 a pop, right? And then now you're at 200 at 2,600 a pop. And are you still only doing it in the same place in Canada, or have you kind of like expanded?
Yeah, it's the same place. We wanted to expand, but trying to keep enough employees to keep doing it every year is tough. Like we lose 1 or 2 guys every year. So we're running like, it would be me and Thomas and then 3 or 4 other guys helping us out with a cook and a cleaning lady, all just for one group of clients. Yeah. And we just haven't expanded just because we haven't found the right area. Like the right area for us would be 2 hours away, which we could do, but then me and my business partner would have to split up. I just feel like it'd be too soon to do that. Like, yeah, it's possible. We have enough land now to do it. We've bought more zones. But all we're doing now is just increasing our price. That's all we can really do, and adding more clients to each group. So we went from a minimum of 4 guys per group to a minimum of 8. So it's 8 to 12 people at $3,200 a day or every 3 days per person. So
nice. And what's the benefit of hiring like someone like your company instead of me just going out by myself?
What's the benefit?
Yeah, like what does someone get? Like, why would I want to hire someone for the experience? I guess it's like you don't know Canada, number one, but like, what all do you guys do for your clients?
I mean, our success rate is like 98% as far as killing a limit of birds. It's like extremely good. But for you and your buddies to travel up to Canada for a year, or that year, let's say you and your buddies wanted to travel up there. Dude, it's like $2,000 in fuel just to get up there pulling a trailer.
Yeah.
You know?
Right.
The benefit for us though is it's really just older guys that have either hunted a lot and don't want to do it themselves anymore. They'd just rather pay someone. Or guys that have never done it come hunt with us and see how it goes, you know?
Yeah.
But I'll tell you this, when I get older, I'm going to pay someone to take me because it's a lot of work. I mean, we're setting 20 dozen decoys a day, setting up blinds. You grass blinds almost every morning, which takes about an hour. Yeah. You're up at 3 a.m. and work until about 1 p.m. after cleaning birds. You know, just things that the benefit is just, it's a vacation. We make it a vacation versus you're grinding. If you and your buddies go up there, you're grinding. You're driving all day long to get fields that have birds in them, talking to landowners.
It's like turnkey. The experience is right there.
Yeah. And not to mention to have the gear and everything in a trailer is another 20, 30, 40 grand.
Yeah.
So it really saves money if you think about it.
So what's like, I mean, there's got to be some stories there of like, I can only imagine big groups of bachelor parties getting blackout drinking in the woods in Canada. Like what's the worst stuff? What's the worst thing that's happened?
We've gotten to a point where if we kind of blacklist people, I guess.
Yeah.
You kind of get to pick and choose once you're big enough who comes and who not to come. Yeah, we've had some bad experiences with that. Broken doors, broken ping pong tables, pool tables, all holes in the wall. We just kind of hope that the landlord doesn't kick us out.
Yeah. Your Airbnb rating's going down.
Yeah, we've had to pay for some stuff before, but no, it's typically not that bad.
So no one's ever like shot each other?
No.
There's been no Dick Cheney moments?
No. We make everyone sign waivers and whatnot, but we all know that's not really going to save us at the end of the day if something bad were to happen. But we just give safety speech after safety speech to everyone. If you do something stupid, we'll literally kick you out of the field. Like you're not coming.
Yeah.
Go to the truck.
Yeah.
We'll have a guy take you back to the lodge.
Yeah. Does he get to go out the next day, or is it like he's got his papers and he's got to walk?
He's getting a talking to, that's for sure.
So it's you and your buddy, and you have a couple of employees up there and a cook, right? Do you have any plans to expand like in the US or in other countries? Like my buddies go down to Argentina and hunt dove. That's like a big dove hunting down there. Yeah. There's like some beautiful landscapes down there.
If I could get into something like that, I would, but I'm kind of shying away from it, dude. I've been doing it for 15 years. I actually just sold my outfitter up in Canada.
Okay.
So I'm done with that up there. I'm still going to be guiding up in Amarillo, up in Texas and here in Texas, but I just kind of made my piece of the pie from it and want to start something different with my life, you know. Being away from friends and family, and like I have to miss weddings, like being a best man and all this stuff, not getting to see my nieces grow up. It's just kind of put a little stake in my heart, you know. Yeah. I don't really have much of one. I try to have more of one, but I'm about to turn 30 years old and I want to start something bigger, you know.
Yeah.
get into something more competitive as far as making money goes.
It's like a lonely existence.
Yeah.
And you're serving other people too.
Yeah.
You know, hospitality and like service oriented businesses, like I will always hire somebody that's from that industry. I grew up in that industry.
Right.
It's a grind. And I think it also just like teaches you to be around like everyday Americans all the time, right? From all different walks of life, but you're in service to them.
Right.
You know, essentially, you know, biblically and like being of service to other people is it's a load, you know, it's a heavy load on you.
Yeah.
But if you can do that, I have like full confidence in that person that they can accomplish like anything else.
Yeah, exactly. You know, the whole thing's just been fantastic for me. Like the people I've met, I've taken the owner of like craft goods hunting, like mac and cheese, you know, flew in on a helicopter to come hunting with me, tipped me 10 grand after 2 hunts. I was like,
is that the family that owns the Chiefs? Or is that?
I don't know, man. This was back when I was like 19.
Or is that Robert Kraft? That's the Patriots. Isn't the Robert Kraft like the craft goods guy?
Yeah.
That's like his family, right? Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, that is crazy.
So when did you sell your company?
Back in February.
Okay.
Yeah.
Dang. Congratulations. I didn't even know about that.
Yeah, dude.
Another problem with him being humble is like, I just, you know, cashed out the successful business.
No, I did really well. Yeah, it was great.
That's awesome.
I just want to, you know, I have a loaded bank account that I'm ready to get into something else. And I'm glad I met you because I'm sure you have plenty of ideas if we were to ever sit down and talk about something. Yeah. But
what do you want to do? I mean, do you want to start another business?
I'd love to.
Yeah.
I'd love to. I honestly wish I could have kept the one up there. I would have kept it, but losing employees every year and basically is a restart button. Like we need guys that can come and work for 3 years and be able to manage the camp. Yeah. And I don't have to be there. Yeah. That was the ultimate goal. Grow it so big to where I don't even have to be there, but to show up maybe for a couple times of the year, and then it'll just self-sustain, run itself.
Why do you think that turnover is so high on that?
On what?
On employees. Because that sounds like a pretty cush job. Like if you live up there and you're like...
No, it is. It's great. I was happy 24/7, but just falling out with my business partner. We had a falling out. Basically to the point where I was like, man, you buy me out or I'll buy you out.
Yeah.
And he wanted to keep it. He's like, I'll buy you out. Like, all right, well, this is how much I want. We have to rewrite the contract if you want this. So we rewrote the contract. He bought me out, paid in full. The original contract was over like 10 years payout. So I ended up making more off the buyout in full than I would have over the 5 or 10 years. I can't remember which it was, but.
And how do you protect that? Like if he doesn't pay, does the business transfer to you? Like how do you lean that?
I have no idea.
Yeah.
I'm just glad it didn't come to that point. You know, that would be a learning curve for me.
Yeah.
Because I didn't know. I just had good attorneys. There's 3 attorneys in my family. So
that's good.
Just reached out to them like, dude, what do I do?
Yeah.
And they're like, all right, let's just protect yourself at all costs. So anything, you know, we didn't have any loans. We didn't have anything else outside of the business to worry about other than just getting the money. And he paid up. But
so how did that like strike you? Because like, you know, I'm fortunate that like I'm in a business now. Like me and my business partners now, they're like my brothers. I mean, we disagree all the time. We fight all the time, but we're honest with each other. And we call each other out on our stuff. There's no like passive aggressiveness at all.
See, and there was a lot of that.
Yeah.
There was a lot of that. He was super prideful, I don't know if he had an ego or just a little jealous. I had started a YouTube channel. People were coming out of the woodworks to kind of try to come hunt with us. He ended up wanting a part of my YouTube channel at the money it made, and he wasn't doing anything for it. I was like, dude, we can start one for the business. I'll be glad to.
Yeah.
You know, like, no, I don't want to.
Where do you think that took a turn? Because you guys were like buddies before, right? And then you start the company and
we were tight. Long story short, probably at the end of the day, I just didn't want to have to fight for it anymore. Our business should be at a point where I don't have to go up there. And it's not. So it was like, we're going to go every year and restart every year and have to hire new employees every year because of him.
Yeah.
They didn't like him.
And he felt entitled to, yeah.
I was the guy that kept everyone positive. Everyone's tired, dude.
Yeah.
Everyone's pissed off.
3 a.m. to 1 o'clock in the afternoon.
And he wanted to give the employees the military approach. I'm the owner. I'm in charge.
Okay.
And it just didn't work.
Right.
Dude, no one wants to hear that when you've been up for sometimes 24, 28 hours.
Well, there's also only 5 people. You're not commanding an army of 1,000 guys.
I know.
That works when you need 1,000 people to stay in line.
Exactly. It should have been so smooth and should have just grown every year, every single year. We should have just grown and had success, and everyone should be happy. Our employees make a crap ton of money. They get paid $400 a day.
Yeah.
Just to hunt until basically noon.
Yeah.
Clean some birds, eat dinner at the lodge with clients.
Yeah. Good living.
And the employees loved it. Our cook is the only one that's been there every year. She's never left.
Wow.
Because everyone loves her. She gets tipped like crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy.
She's like, I'm not going anywhere. This is incredible.
I mean, dude, 8 guys. Dude, I've seen her walk away like $5,000 every 3 days. That's a lot for a Canadian and American money too.
Oh yeah.
So
dude, I'll tell you
over
a story.
2 months, I bet she made about 60, 70 grand.
Dude, when I was in college, I was a cabana host at a hotel in Vegas. I lifeguarded and then I sold cabanas.
Nice.
So when I was selling cabanas, I would host the cabana. I'd just bring people alcohol. I wouldn't even bring them alcohol. I'd literally just make sure they got set up with the cabana and then like charm them and then connect them with the cocktail waitress. And the cocktail waitress did all the work. She took all of the orders. I just made sure that they were there to have a good time.
Nice.
I'd walk away like 4th of July weekend with like $4 or $5,000 in cash in my pocket. I'm 22 years old. I'm like in Vegas. The fact that I'm alive right now is like unbelievable. But yeah, I mean, that's awesome. That's really good money.
Yeah, I used to always look for little jobs like that too when I was younger. But that tip money is awesome when you're in your early 20s, dude.
Yeah. And like my fraternity brother in my in college was my boss.
Oh, no way.
So literally, like, I'd get all the best. Shout out to Rick Nowacki. I love you, dude. So I get the best schedule because I'd always be able to work Thursday, Friday, Saturday. That was like the best time to make money in Vegas, right? You get all the people coming in for the weekend.
Of course.
I'd work all the big holidays during the summer. And it was just awesome, man. It was like such a fun time.
That is awesome. Is it a lot of locals on the weekends?
No, it's like
people from all over, I bet.
Literally no locals.
Dang.
It's just like bachelorette parties, bachelor parties.
That would be nice.
Old men walking around with like hookers that they found on the strip. Like it's crazy. I mean, like funny enough, one time it was so hot. It was like 115 degrees in Vegas one time. And this dude, this like big fat like Russian dude, so hairy. He was wearing like a gold banana hammock around the pool. He had 2 girls that were half his age with him. He passed out and fell into the deep end of the pool.
Oh,
and I had to jump in and pull him out of the pool. Luckily, he woke up. I didn't have to give him mouth to mouth. But I was like, yeah. He was like, oh, thank you. And then, I mean, he gave me like...
you were lifeguarding?
Yeah. And then I pull him out of the pool. And then that weekend, he gets a cabana and we're joking around. We're like, he's partying and, I'll take like a drink with him at the time, whatever. Forgets his phone charger in the room. He's got a suite at the hotel. I won't say what hotel it was, but he has a suite at the hotel. And he's like, I'll give you $1,000 to go up to my room and get my hotel charger or my phone charger. I was like, okay, give me your room key. I'll be right back.
Dang.
Yeah. So just like that kind of stuff is like, I don't know. It literally like shaped me in the world that like, I was always so conservative and so like follow the rules my whole life, and then get into the real world and like you're experiencing this now. Like, you have a falling out with your business partner. Like, dude, no one's really looking out for you.
Yeah.
You got to like look out for yourself and read between the lines on like, where's my opportunity here?
Right.
It's not just, if it was up to my dad and I love my dad, but like I went into banking. My dad's like, look, you work for the same company for 30 years. Invest max out your 401k. You just do that. You're going to live a really good life. And credit to him. Like, he's lived a great life. He's saved a lot of money in his retirement account and invested well.
Yeah.
I just never wanted to do that. I literally was sitting at a desk in a bank for like 4 years. And I remember just leaving the bank one day, and I had dinner with my dad, and I kind of just like broke down. I was like, dude, I'm so unhappy with what I'm doing. I hate it. I'm stuck in an office.
Yeah.
It's horrible. And he just looked at me. Best thing he ever said to me in my life. He said, stop complaining about it and go do something about it.
Yeah.
And he was like, I don't agree with it. He's like, I think you have a great job. I mean, I was 22. I was making 150 grand a year at like 23 years old working at a bank. Yeah.
Yeah, that's good
And he's
money.
like, go do it. And I bet on myself, took a job that was 100% commission. I had to get my Series 7 and 63 license so I could trade stock, like raise private money.
Yeah.
I didn't make a single dollar for 9 months.
Dang.
And spent all my savings just betting on myself.
Yeah.
Betting on myself. Finally, my first commission check comes in. I made like $110,000 on my first commission check because of all the work. I mean, it takes a long time, right? You
Right. Yeah.
talk to clients, raise money, put them in deals. You don't get paid till the deal funds. It's like, it's a long waiting period, right?
Yeah.
I just remember like the first feeling I had was like, thank God that I'm not sitting in that bank anymore. And that I'm not like, I could see the next 30 years of my life.
I know, man. Well, that was the main thing I didn't want to do, was sit inside somewhere.
Yeah.
That's why I was like, I got money. I'm gonna do this. I'm getting out of the house and do it on my own.
Yeah.
I had confidence in myself, but the bank went empty,
Yeah.
and until hunting season was over.
Right.
I feel like you almost have to do that anytime you get into something bigger. It's like, it's going to happen to me again. I'm going to do it again.
Yeah.
I want to invest into something. I'm not scared of that. I'm more scared of sitting inside all day as my job than losing everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just a slow death. But I think that, the fact that you've learned that from a young age, like, already separates you from 99% of people.
Yeah.
And it's not like you've really done it. It's not like, everybody, me and my buddy Steven were talking about this. Like, everybody on Instagram wants to be a business owner and an entrepreneur. Right. And like, I own a business. Like, you ain't doing shit.
Right.
Right. It sounds so sexy and so romantic to be like, I own a business.
Mm-hmm.
But what you really want to see is like, where's all your battle scars, dude?
Right.
Because that's what makes you a business person.
Yeah.
Like, going through what you just went through, and then now you're about to start another business or whatever your next endeavor is. That's what separates everybody from like a real entrepreneur from just like, I'm an influencer or I started an LLC. It's like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
You've never disappointed an employee. You've never had a client call you at the funding table and be like, I'm backing out of the deal. You've never had the bank say that they're not going to fund your deal or whatever. You know what I mean? It's like, get through that, and then let's talk about how you're an entrepreneur.
Yeah. Well, I feel like you and I are a lot alike in that sense. Like, we kind of want it the hard way.
Yeah.
If it's not hard, then what's it worth? Right. Well, if it just comes easy and you make a lot of money, that's great and all, but I'd rather climb the ladder.
100%.
I'd rather it be tough.
100%. And like, it's not money to me. Money is like a benefit,
right?
Of hard work, but like, it's competition.
Yeah.
I love the competition. I love like grinding it out. I like winning the deal.
Mm-hmm.
I like creating something that like I can provide value to the world in.
Yeah.
And the fact that I get rewarded monetarily for that is a great upside. I'm not complaining about that at all.
That's all it is, though.
But it's the competition. It's like that athlete in me that's just like, dude, I want to go to war, dude. Let's go.
Yeah. That's why I love playing golf with you, because I know you're gonna put it on. If things get tight, you're gonna focus up.
Oh, dude, one thing I need to work on. One thing I need to work on with that though is that you're so zen when you're golfing, and I can't tell if I'm a worse loser or a worse winner sometimes. Like, when I'm winning, I love just digging the knife in. But when I'm losing, dude, I can't sleep for like 3 days. I'll like stay awake. I'll wake up in the middle of the night and be like, that's what I should have hit that club instead of that club. I should have done that. You know what I mean? It's just like haunting.
In golf, you can learn a lot in golf too. Yeah. dude, you can miss a putt by that much. You know, it's so tight.
Yeah.
And someone could drain a 30-footer and win.
Yeah.
Versus your 3-footer you just missed on the last hole.
Yeah.
You know, it's such a
the
fun game.
The parity is amazing, especially when you like put in a handicap system where it's like, oh, I get some strokes. The parity is unreal. Like someone that's a 15 handicap can beat a 3 handicap with the handicap system.
Yeah,
that's
for sure.
Infuriating.
Yeah, no, that's definitely
you're like you're gonna lose to some guy that misses every fairway. What are you gonna do?
Yeah.
So what are you thinking? Like, it sounds like you're kind of in this like transition period of like you've built a business, you've sold a successful business, you know you can do it again. Are there like industries that you're interested in or things that you have in the hopper?
No, dude, I'm interested in whatever. I just haven't dug in to take the next steps. I sold my business, 5-6 months ago. In the last 5 or 6 months, I've basically just been reaching out to people that might want to sponsor me and my YouTube channel and Instagram to kind of get by for the next 6 months, basically. So I get free guns, free ammo, free hunting gear. I'm getting equity in all these companies.
Nice.
Just to kind of set me up and have some mailbox money. The YouTube channel is never going to go away. It's going to continue to grow. So that's what I'm hoping is going to be my second source of income next year. So in the next 6 to 8 months, I'm just going to try to figure out what to do with everything I have saved up. You know, I'm not going to get out of hunting fully, but I definitely don't want to have to do it for 8 months out of the year anymore. It's good, but yeah, it's a huge transition period. I don't know. I don't know. Like, what would you, if you had 6 figures in the bank right now?
Yeah.
What would be the first thing you did with it?
Well,
outside of your property management stuff, unless it is that.
No, I mean, so my business is like very unique, right? So we're real estate developers first.
Really?
I buy land, I develop the dirt, and then we build vertical construction for rent houses on it, right?
Right.
The property management stuff came into play because, I've interviewed hundreds of property management companies, and they just weren't doing the job the right way that I expected from my clients and for myself. Like I own a lot of property too, right?
Yeah. Yeah, you do.
And then we found like a good group of property managers. There's probably 4 or 5 property managers we work with right now that we can really like vibe with, and that they understand our business and how to talk to our clients and how to handle my portfolio and everyone else's. So that was kind of a secondary thing, but our primary thing was like, hey, buy dirt, develop it into lots, build property. We keep a lot of it. We sell most of it. Right?
Okay.
So we'll build 500, 600 doors a year. I'll keep, 50 or so, and then we'll sell the rest of them to our investors.
Dang.
Right. So It's very unique because I know that market so well. I don't have a lot of other skill sets. Like, to be honest with you, like investment wise, like I can't day trade stocks. I don't have the patience for it.
My grandpa does that.
Yeah. And then like on top of that, I started a mortgage company, which also, it's like all vertically integrated, right? So all of my businesses have to relate with my primary business, which is real estate, right? So what I would do, man, if I had $100,000 and I was young, the first thing that I would do is probably buy a duplex, because you can buy a duplex through FHA with 3.5% down, which is insane. And interest rates are wildly low. So you can buy a $400,000 duplex, rent out one side of it, have the tenant basically pay 75% of your mortgage and build your equity in that property.
Yeah.
And then like if you're starting another company and you're, on the road a lot and all that stuff, all you need is a place to throw your junk, right? It's not like you're staying there, 80 hours or 6, 7 days.
I thought about the duplex thing. That's probably the best thing I should do.
That's a no-brainer. It gives you a write-off. And then, dude, honestly, I think the path you're on, like I started this YouTube channel. The reason I called it "Does Anyone Have a Pencil" is because I was like the most underprepared kid in school all the time.
Oh,
I
God.
showed up to class all the time and I was like, do you have a piece of paper? Do you have a pencil?
Oh,
Like,
same.
does anyone have a pencil for me, please? So I can take
Oh
notes.
my gosh.
Right?
That's funny.
And so that's why I named it that. And like, I just, right now, I'm just trying to like absorb and learn from people that I'm inspired by and that I respect.
Yeah.
And part of the reason I'm inspired by you and I respect you is like, you've built this Cole Townsend brand.
Yeah.
But it's like, you're the most authentic person I've ever met that has a social media following.
Oh, I appreciate that.
And that's like a really, in today's day and age, I think that's such a wild.
I guess. Yeah, I agree. I've always seen it in the industry before I really got going in it. And I was like, man, you'd meet them in person, they'd be different. I'm like, I don't want that to be me.
Yeah.
You know, it's as simple
They're just always playing to the camera.
I just want to be myself at all times. I don't care what people think of me.
Yeah. I would lean into that, man. I mean, you have.
And starting a personal brand, I feel like it's nothing but a good idea these days. Everything's media ran.
Absolutely.
Everything. And a lot of these, especially in the outdoor world, a lot of these companies will pay for a face, big money, because they're getting demonetized from their guns they're selling.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's why they'll pay me to do it.
Yeah.
Because on my YouTube channel, I can just say what gun I'm using.
Yeah, they're like the least popular industry right now. Yeah, that's crazy. I didn't even think about that.
To GeForce is the shotguns, the brand. You go to their Instagram, they've got around 20,000 followers, I think, and get like 10, 50 likes on a post because that's how much Instagram won't allow it to be published.
Yeah.
You know? And there's this guy named Grand Thumb. You need to look him up. He does like myths or scientific gun shooting stuff. You'd really like it, but he'll shoot crazy guns on there. But he's like the only guy I know that's really gotten by with it.
Really?
He's got like 3 million subscribers, maybe more.
Wow.
Gets hundreds of thousands of ammo sent to him a year. Like crazy huge dude. But other than that, I don't know anyone that really gets by with the gun stuff anymore on social media.
Yeah. But to your point though, I mean, I think like the reason I started this one is because I wanted to learn. I also think I have like, I'm not the smartest person. I didn't get straight A's in school, but I've found a way to be, by most terms, like extremely successful in the grand scheme of things.
Oh yeah.
Right.
You have.
With my family, with business. And I wanted to share that for free. Like I will never try to sell anyone anything. I'm not selling an education course. I'm not trying to get you to buy my book or like any of those things. Right.
Although you could, you know,
I think at some point we'll have like a direct line that if you want to like participate and buy properties from us, then you can do that. Right now, we're fortunate to have, you know, some very big names in the social media world that refer us clients because of the quality of product that we do. But I looked at it the same way. Like this is an asset that you can never take away from me.
Right.
I'm building an asset of like, this is who I am. This is what I do. I think that's something that can carry on. And for you, dude, I mean, that's such a niche market that you have.
No, like, it's really small. It is.
But that's great. I think niche is great.
Yeah. No, niche is great. But there's only a certain amount of growth you can get to a certain point until you kind of transition everyone that's followed or subscribed to you into something else. You know?
Yeah.
Which will happen one day. When I give up hunting every day for 8 months, then I'll transition into. I probably won't do a podcast for a while. This is awesome, but you know, teaching people or doing real life view on buying the condos or duplexes, and stuff like that. That'd be cool to film. Yeah, you know, I don't know.
Yeah, that'd be great. I mean, I would definitely look at that. Real estate's easy. I think one, because the math is so easy to comprehend. Like I was saying, I'm not the smartest person in the world.
Yeah.
But if you can do like 5th grade math.
Are you a numbers guy?
Yeah.
Yeah, me too.
You can figure out every deal if you know what to look for. Right. The rest of there's the scientific part and then there's the art. Right. The scientific part is really easy to figure out. Where do my numbers need to go? Is this deal going to make money?
Right.
The artistic part is taking a look at a piece of dirt and then being like, what am I going to do with that? What's the vision you're creating? And that's why I love real estate.
That's awesome though, dude.
Yeah.
So cool.
I just hired a company out of LA to basically do everything. So all I have to do is like shoot the podcast and, B-roll, and like that video I posted yesterday, just me in my car, has like 250,000 views on Instagram, which is crazy. But I don't know what I'm doing at all.
Yeah.
All I'm trying to do right now is to have conversations with people that interest me.
Yeah.
And try to provide some free content that adds value to people's lives. That's
right. Dude, you're in the perfect spot to be able to blow up on YouTube big time too.
Why do you think that? What's your like diagnosis on that?
Everyone wants to make money.
Yeah.
Everyone wants to learn how to make money.
Yeah.
That's where the world's at right now.
Yeah.
I don't see why a couple of successful guys, not saying me, but you and a guy bigger than you, why people won't listen,
Yeah.
That's all you got to get is people to tune in.
Yeah.
Have valuable stuff that they can take home with them.
Yeah.
There's no way it won't blow up eventually.
Yeah.
The sad part about it is those clips that you had, like that one, you're just going to have to get one of those every week or something,
Yeah. Yeah.
It just seems like what it takes.
And that was like completely by accident.
Yeah.
Which is crazy. Dude, and it's like the lowest production value video that I've
Isn't
made.
That crazy?
Yeah,
dude, I've noticed that too. Like, I'll have a video blow up. I'm like, I posted this because I'm down to my last video to post, and that's the one that goes viral. Like every time.
And somehow that's like the most authentic too,
yeah,
which is
true.
Crazy.
So I think you just post all of it, and if you don't want something on there that didn't do well, just delete it or whatever. I don't know. It's crazy what goes viral these days, though. It's always random.
Yeah.
It feels random.
Yeah.
Back in the day, Instagram was a source that was pretty consistent. And then TikTok comes out and Instagram's trying to compete with them. And I think that's where all some of those, where are they from? Iran or something?
Mm-hmm.
Baghdad.
Yeah.
Like that's where all those weird people are coming. Cause I think it's just, I don't know if they're Instagram bots or if they're real people over there. I don't know how they're seeing our stuff, but I don't know if it's a competition thing with TikTok or not. But
yeah,
I noticed it when TikTok came out. Instagram came out with Reels to compete with them. And that's where they wanted to boost your followers so you'd stay on Instagram.
Yeah.
It's almost what it felt like. I don't know if that's true or not, but
yeah. Feels like Reels are getting the most conversion.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like that.
That, and if you post photos, apparently if you post like a carousel, they call it, 3 or 4 photos at a time, not just one. So like they literally, the algorithm is the time someone's literally on your post instead of swiping up to the next one.
Yeah.
So if you have like 6 photos and they're on there for 10 seconds, it's more likely to go out to more people.
Yeah.
Algorithms are crazy.
Yeah.
I still don't understand them, but trying.
No, I appreciate that. I mean, I'm interested to see how this goes with the company that I hired. Just because one, it's a lot of work too. It's like a time suck, right? But the production quality and like their professionalism, I could benefit from.
Oh, for sure.
But then like feedback from people like you, I'm always open to. Like,
right.
I admittedly know that I know nothing.
Well, a lot of it's luck, man.
Yeah.
You just got to have a couple videos go off.
Yeah.
Like that's probably 90% of it. The other 10% is doing everything else the right way.
Yeah.
You do it right every single time. Eventually, a couple of them are going to go crazy and you're going to get that following. That just seems how it works.
Well, it's like kind of the same thing. Like the reason I started the way that I did, just like trying to add value and free education, basically.
Yeah.
Is like one thing I can tell you in real estate, there is no get rich quick scheme in real estate. Like a lot of people, like when clients come to me and they're like, oh, these returns aren't high enough. I need to make, 30% ROI, blah, blah. I'm like, dude, I'm not the company for you.
Yeah.
If you want to like go try to do that and like flip houses that were built in the 1940s, like go for it. But like, I'll tell you all the I've done that. I'll tell you all the horror stories about it.
Thought about doing that.
But the biggest thing that you can do in real estate to make money, and you have like a very interesting niche in this, is like bring value where nobody else can. So like the most money I've ever made in real estate is like I said, looking at a piece of dirt that no one else wanted to buy and being like, oh, I can do something with that.
Yeah.
Right. And designing the right project for it. In your industry, there's so much non-income producing dirt, right? Land.
Right.
That doesn't make any money. If you can figure out how to turn that into income producing land, that's the asset.
Yeah.
Right. Or building, take a piece of land and build like a really nice Airbnb cabin on it that you can use as a honey, like whatever it is.
Right.
That's the real goal. But the reason that real estate is so successful in building wealth, and it has created more millionaires and billionaires than any other asset class in the history of the world, is owning property, right? The reason for that is because it's an amazing store of wealth. So like you have $100,000 in the bank, you put that $100,000 into one property, you're not going to lose money on that property. Now, maybe over time, it could take a dip, right? But over 20 years, over 30 years, you're never going to lose value on that piece of property. That's where the wealth building goes in.
Yeah.
Then you mix in the most beautiful part, which is leverage. So when I was talking about that duplex, right? You buy a $400,000 duplex, you put 3.5% down. That's $14,000. Right? To buy a $400,000.
You can do that?
Yes. To buy a $400,000 asset. Okay. Your tenant is paying your rent and paying your mortgage, and they're paying most of your property taxes and most of your insurance and blah, blah, blah. Right? Because rents are like at an all-time high right now.
Yeah.
Right? You spent 14 grand. You might not be making cash flow positive money on that, but you're buying yourself equity. You're arbitraging your equity right every month. So 10 years from now, let's say that property's gone up from 400 grand to, let's be conservative and say it's $450,000, but your mortgage is paid down to 300 grand. You have $150,000 in equity in that property that you spent 14 grand on in 10 years.
Yeah.
Right. That's almost a 10x.
I would do it today.
Right.
That's
the beauty of it. And then when you start figuring out like, well, I never have to pay taxes again, because if you buy enough real estate or you build enough property, you can offset the depreciation of all of that against your income. So now I don't have to write a check to the federal government. And instead of writing a check to the federal government, I'm actually using that money I would have written to the IRS to build more property or buy more property. Once you're on that cycle, though, it's hard to get out of the cycle.
Yeah.
So the real crazy thing is rich people sell their assets. Wealthy people do not. So like selling your stock, selling your real estate, I'm going to cash out. Great. Go ahead and do that. That's so stupid.
Oh, I would never do that.
Like just hold it.
Oh,
you can 1031 it.
Yeah.
You can refinance it. The beautiful thing about refinancing is like, even if you borrow against stock, I can take all of my equity, most of my equity back out of that asset, and it's tax free.
Gosh.
So like, why even mess around with selling the property?
Right. My grandpa was a home builder, and he said never sell them.
Yeah.
So he's still getting monthly income.
Yep.
He's retired, of course, and just people bring him a check or cash every month. Yeah. He's got like 6 or 7 houses he built, and people are in them, and that's what he does. He said never sell.
And now's the time to do it, man, because I'm telling you, like, the Fed is going to cut interest rates. I think we're at like historic lows in inventory across the United States for single family homes, but it's like something like 14 million properties across the United States. And that's not even including like all of these legal and illegal immigrants that came to the United States. We don't know how many that is. Let's say it's 18 million people. Where are they going to live?
More than that.
But let's just say, so you have a shortage of $14 million homes. That's current, U.S. Census Bureau data. And you've got 18 million new people in the country.
So would now be the time, or wait until possibly that goes away?
I think now's the time. The reason I think now is the time is because I think you have a very tight window of interest rates lowering, or the anticipation of interest rates lowering, and when prices are going to start going up again. Because like a lot of people are sitting on the sideline right now like, oh, rates are going to decrease. Well, I'll just wait until 2025 to buy a property. Okay, cool. You're going to save 1% on your interest rate, but you're going to pay 15 grand more on the purchase price of the property.
Well, historically, hasn't it always just kind of gone up anyway? It just kind of
What, real estate?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, so is the
Um,
stock market.
because what was it? A couple years ago, it was crazy.
Yeah.
And you think it'll continue to rise?
Yes.
Yeah, I would say now's the time then.
Yeah.
I've been holding off too. That's me. I'm that guy. I didn't want to buy a property
Yeah.
because of interest rates and everything going on.
Yeah.
Just wait and see if it goes back down.
Yeah.
You know?
There's an old famous Chinese saying, the best time to plant a tree was 100 years ago. The next best time's today. But I think that's like the truth. Like, and I was saying,
I agree.
there is no get rich quick scheme though, man. I mean, if you have the ability to earn income from all the other things that you're doing, I think that you should look at real estate as a store of wealth.
Yeah.
And I promise you that if you're smart about doing that, and I can help you out with it, and you can get involved with me, or I'll just, if you ever see a deal and you're like, hey, take a look at it, like I'll go through it with you.
Dude, I'd love to.
But like, you won't lose.
I'd love to, man.
Unless you do something very stupid. And I've done stupid things. Like,
I can't promise you I won't, but I'm pretty level headed when it comes to most things.
Yeah.
Gosh, these are just all the things I don't know anything about. My whole goal in life was just to kind of work hard, make money in what I'm doing, do it the best I can, make as most profit as I can. And that's where I'm at right now. I sold a business at 29 years old, made more money than I've ever made. And what's the next step?
Do you have accountants that you're working with?
I have an accountant. Yeah.
Has he set you up with like any kind of retirement plan?
Yeah.
What do you set up?
I have a 401 and I just have a Roth IRA. I think I can only put like $8,000 or something in it a year.
How much can you put into your 401k?
To be honest, I don't even know. I set it up last year. I just kind of send him what he asked me to send him.
Okay. So you should be able to put something like $60,000 a year into your 401k,
really?
Tax-free.
No kidding.
So that's like another.
If that's worth it too, then I'll do that. And I need to get rid of a lot of cash. Right now.
It's time to like hunker down.
Right.
Because you sold your business in February, right? Well,
next year I'm going to get hammered on
the chickens are coming to roost in 2024.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would definitely sit down and look at that. Like, depending on if you have your 401k documents, like I'll take a look at them. But you can set up, because you're self-employed, you can set up basically a self-employed 401k. And that's probably what he set up for you, because you don't have an employer sponsoring it.
Right.
Where your company can contribute X amount of dollars, and then you can contribute X amount of dollars personally. I think it's like $42,000 from your company and $21,000 from you personally.
Oh, dang.
So that's $63,000.
Holy cow.
That you can put into that tax-free, right?
Yeah.
Once it's in that 401k plan, you can set up what's called a checkbook controlled LLC, right? So essentially, your 401k owns 100% of the shares in an LLC that has nothing to do with you personally, because your 401k is its own separate tax entity. Right. It owns that LLC. That LLC can buy real estate. So now your 401k owns real estate.
Jeez.
Yeah. So think about how crazy that is.
Yeah.
Dang,
so there's a lot you can do.
There's a lot you can do. And like when you sell that property, all of the profit goes back to the 401k. So you're not paying taxes on capital gains. Any of the rental income that comes from that doesn't get taxed because it goes back to your 401k. Your 401k pays all the taxes, all the insurance, all of the maintenance, all the property management fees, everything. It's a self-sustainable.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll have to talk about that.
Yeah. Sure. But that's what I would do. If I was you, I just sold a business. Number one, figure out as many ways as I can to write the smallest amount of check to the government that I possibly can.
Yeah, no, I use my mom and dad's CPA, and they've always just done it. You know, I don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
Probably learn about it.
But you're in a good position because you're self-employed.
Right.
And like, you being a media personality and stuff like that, there's a lot of other benefits that come along with that, of things that you can write off.
Right.
So.
See, because this year I was just I made a Cole Townsend LLC. So I was just going to put all that money in there. Whatever I spend on fuel, food, whatever, that's business expense.
Yeah,
right?
Don't do that.
So,
max out your
yeah.
retirement, get some assets, have some, dry powder on deck for expenses and, investments that you want to participate in, but like figure out what that number is.
Do you do long-term stocks too? Like
Yeah.
TD Ameritrade?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I don't trade, like, I'm not the person to ask about stocks, man.
No, I have someone do it.
Yeah.
Here's the money. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
My grandfather, when I was really young, I asked him like why he didn't trade stocks. And he's like, well, I can't touch them. I don't really understand owning 1/1,000,000% of Apple.
Yeah.
He's like, he's always invested in real estate. That's what I've always done. I own some stock. I own some Bitcoin, Ethereum, stuff like that. Just I think that could be interesting store of values, but it's like throwaway money.
Right.
As a real estate developer, like all of my cash is in property. And if it's not in property, it's sitting in a bank waiting to jump onto another piece of property.
Yeah. No, that makes complete sense.
Well, good stuff, man. Well, I really appreciate you coming on. We'll have to have you on again.
Yeah, we'll do it again.
Good luck with the road trips coming up.
Thanks, man.
Awesome.
I appreciate it. Thanks for having me.